khona into esandokwenzeka la. Ngayithanda mhlawumbe ngibhodle kuwena.
Ugene imoto eshisayo namhlanje. Sina siyangena siyaphuma iteka famba.
Razuvai. Hlone la.
Ngithathe inyashi yakuphumela kwami.
Hello everyone, welcome back to ASR, African Stories Realized. This is our weekly review of Adulting Season 3. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's get into it. Episode 12 picks up at Lerato's place, where Vuyani arrived with some flowers for her. Lerato told Vuyani that she wasn't happy with the attention he had been given her, but he reminded her that he was in a complicated relationship that he was trying to get out of. While Lerato was freshening up, Vuyani found Bonga's wedding ring laying around and immediately confronted Lerato, who confessed to sleeping with Bonga. Vuyani wasted no time going to Nkanyezi with what he had discovered, suggesting that Bonga had a score to settle with him after Vuyani slept with his college girlfriend, who was also named Lerato. Nkanyezi then marched to Bonga's work and slapped him across the face, revealing what Vuyani had told her. Bonga went to Eric's place, where the rest of the gents were, and unleashed an assault on Vuyani, who did his best to fight back before Eric and Impo separated them. They told both guys that they were in the wrong, but Bonga was not happy with their lack of support after everything he'd done for them, cursing them out before storming off. Bonga returned to Nkanyezi, where he admitted his wrongs and apologized for his infidelity, insisting he would do anything to fix things. After his fight with Bonga, Vuyani felt like the gents were judging him and returned home, where Beth and her new boy toy were waiting. However, this time, Vuyani refused to submit to Beth, packing his bags and leaving his life with her behind. Meanwhile, at Impo's place, Naledi asked him to babysit her son, but Impo wasn't comfortable with it, revealing to a disappointed Naledi that he feels like their relationship is moving too fast. Naledi later confronted Impo about their relationship, questioning if he still wanted to be with her, even suggesting that he might be cheating. Impo then invited Naledi over for dinner, where they intended to discuss their relationship further. However, their dinner was gate-crashed by Zitulele, who dropped off the twins before Naledi arrived. Naledi suggested that Impo set some boundaries for himself with Zitulele before telling Impo to take some time to sort himself out. Naledi then refused to stay for dinner, as the couple took a break. At Eric's place, Mickey returned to tell him about a potential heist. However, Eric dismissed her, insisting he would do it himself. Eric and an accomplice later made their way to the dealership to pull off the heist. However, this time things wouldn't go as planned. Just as Eric was about to steal the car, police arrived at the dealership, forcing him to lead them on a wild chase. He barely escaped the car under heavy police gunfire, with at least one of the bullets grazing him. Police searched for him in the bushes as he desperately tried to call Bonga for help. However, Bonga, who was at home with his wife, ignored his best friend's call, forcing Eric to call Mapaseka for help, who quickly arrived to pick up an injured Eric before the police found him. Back at Mapaseka's place, she treated Eric's injuries but wasn't happy that he made her come to an active crime scene. Mapaseka was ready to wash her hands of Eric. However, he broke down in tears, professing his love for her and expressing how grateful he was to have her in his life. The couple reconciled with a kiss before Mapaseka dropped Eric off at home. However, Minky arrived soon after, confronting Eric about the failed heist and his girlfriend. Eric and his grandmother asked Minky to leave, but she was offended, accusing Eric of using her. Eric doubled down, insisting that Mapaseka was the only woman for him, but Minky followed him into the kitchen, where their confrontation continued. She grabbed one of the knives and in the heat of the moment, stabbed Eric in the chest. He stumbled outside where it was raining before collapsing, and the episode ends with Minky crying over Tiki Tiki's body as he lay in a pool of blood. R.I.P. Tiki Tiki. There's a lot to unpack today. We knew all along that Eric and Minky's toxic relationship wasn't going to end well, but I didn't think they would take this angle. I thought that maybe he was gonna die at the hands of the police or just get arrested, but this was a poetic ending, especially after getting back together with Mapaseka. Everything came together. The last 15 minutes of this episode was all focused on Eric, so in that sense, the show gave him a good death, but I really wanted to see him win. Even before this season, he had been through a lot more than the other gents, and I think the character deserved more redemption. This also means the finale will truly be a farewell for the show and for Eric, with a funeral expected to take place. Bonga's going to regret not picking up when Eric called, but I wonder if he didn't pick up because he was still mad at Eric or to appease Nkanyezi. He did say he'd do anything to fix their marriage, and Nkanyezi's never been a fan of Bonga's friends. She even asked him to cut them off shortly after they started dating. I love how the other gents called out Bonga for keeping tabs on the favors he had done for them. It just goes to show that you can't buy true friendship, the type that holds you accountable. Vuyani was wrong for going to Nkanyezi behind Bonga's back, especially because Lerato wasn't really his girlfriend. He's dating Beth, so the moral high ground he was trying to stand on is very shaky. And that's not to make excuses for Bonga. He definitely broke the code first, but Vuyani crossed the line. They've left us hanging with Vuyani's storyline, but I assume he'll be returning to his family home, or maybe he'll show up at Lerato's doorstep. I think it might be over with Beth. However, the club might be his lifeline. I don't think it can survive without him. After all, it is named after him. I think the problem Mpo's having in his relationship with Naledi is that he isn't stepfather material. This isn't a relationship he would have gotten to if he had known Naledi had a son. I think Naledi realized this as well, and she might have been testing him when she asked him to babysit her son. Naledi basically wants Mpo to choose which family to prioritize. It was a very bittersweet episode today, but all roads lead to next week's finale, which will be the last ever episode of Adulting. It's gonna be hard to say goodbye, but I can't wait to see how the gents story ends. Adulting Season 3 is streaming on Showmax every Saturday, and we'll be back next week with another review. Don't forget to like and subscribe. This is ASR for the love of African filmmaking and storytelling.